Welcome to Her Take by Laila Says. Today we're going to discuss something that is dear to my heart, something that I should have been discussing from episode 1, because who am I to literally ramble about myself when I should be telling you who the fuck I am? Who is Laila Says? How does she become the woman to basically say the fuck what she's on her mind and being bothered by these peasants? Yes. So today's title is basically about the confidence that divides, learning from Beyonce. Yes, I'm speaking about Beyonce. I'm using her as an example because she is a part of this, of me learning to love myself and learning more about myself. She's partially part of this journey. So we are discussing her. But I have a question for you, for my audience, since y'all are listening. Have you ever walked into the room and noticed people either feel inspired or threatened by your energy? That's what confidence does. And today we're talking about why it divides, using Beyonce as a very prime example in my own journey of self-love as well. So today's episode is very raw and personal to me. I'm going to give you a timeline. So we're talking about confidence that divides, the kind of energy that makes people either admire you or envy you. Sometimes the people who trigger us the most are mirrors, showing us insecurities we haven't healed yet. And yes, I'm talking about moments when I used to hate Beyonce because I couldn't stand that heifer. Yes, I did not like her at all. And I remember when I was watching, I don't remember what show it was, but she was on stage and she's performing, I believe it was No No. This is when it came out. And when I saw her performing, I said to myself, I don't like her. I said, why is she here? I really don't like this heifer. Mind you, I didn't really understand why I didn't like this chick. I would say probably a few years. I didn't understand why I hated her because I didn't really have a valid reason why I did not like Beyonce or certain women who basically had that kind of confidence and that presence. I didn't understand why. Now I understand why I didn't like Beyonce, because she was holding a mirror in front of my face. And basically, this mirror showed me someone who was very ugly inside, somebody who had very low self-esteem, insecurities, somebody who had a lot of anger, who didn't really love the way how she looked and how she felt and what she was seeing in front of the mirror. That's what Beyonce was showing me. That's what other women who emulate that confidence and that aura of Beyonce was showing me. And I want to say to those women that triggered me, that brought that insecurity from the weeds of my heart, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for showing me that I was an insecure bitch. I want to say thank you for showing me that I had a very ugly heart that need the weeds to come out. Thank you. Because now I am the woman that these bitches hate daily. And I enjoy it because I live rent free in your head. And I suggest you to seek help. I suggest you to do shadow work and intense work. Because why the fuck would you hate on another woman that you don't have a valid reason that you hate on you? Because she never done nothing to you. Minding her business. And then you are over here hating on her for no reason because you feel that she's competition. Let that sink in your head, please. I was basically projecting onto a woman I have never met that have not done anything to me. And yet I felt very threatened by her energy and her presence every time I saw her on my TV screen. So as I grew, I literally was masking this fake confidence. And during that time when I was literally, I think in high school, I didn't really know who I was. I was very quiet. I kept to myself a lot. I didn't really know how to be social, but I didn't know how to talk to people or have a conversation because I was really that lone wolf. And I'm still a lone wolf and I'm proud of it because it's something that really helps to protect my energy and also to set boundaries against other people who I don't really fuck with. Um, That's something that has helped me during that time. I have a question for you. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever noticed yourself feeling triggered by someone else's success, only to later realize it's a reflection of your own unhealed parts? Ooh, I felt that. But the reason why Beyonce is a great example because she does two things. She motivates people to be their best selves, and she exposes insecurities in people who haven't done their inner work. We're going to get back to that, but I do want to speak about that. The woman I am today, the better version, it took me years to get to where I was. Is that confidence, self-love doesn't happen overnight. Being the best version of yourself doesn't happen overnight. It takes at least a few years or years, depending how much unhealed parts you have to literally take the weeds out of your heart. That's how long it takes. And when I tell you, I had to do so much inner work. I did shadow work. I got a life coach. I got a mindset coach. I got somebody to literally gather myself together and to literally tell me who I am and to be the best version of myself. That's what I had to be, because that's something that I really had to take in consideration. Mind you, when I walk into a room, especially when I go to work, these heifers be looking at me. These heifers are hella triggered by my presence because I mind my business. I go to work, I clock in and I clock out. I don't gossip. I don't entertain BS. I just come there to collect my check and leave. And that's what I do. And when I tell you, if I don't vibe with you, I don't acknowledge you. And the reason why I don't acknowledge you, because you are not on my level. I do not surround myself with haters. I surround myself who's going to uplift me and take me to the next level, because I am the CEO of myself. Okay? And I want to let that sink in your head. I really do. Because I did that. Because when I walk in a room, I literally triggered women and men of their insecurities. And Beyonce doesn't do it intentionally. She really doesn't, because she just walks in the room. At one point, Beyonce was very insecure, and she did an interview where she had suicide thoughts, that she felt ugly. And she had to do that work to get to where she was as the woman she is today. And I did too. Did not have suicide thoughts. I was just very insecure. I just tend to literally make people feel worse and tear it down to make myself feel the best. And that's what I did. And I had to come to realization, and that's not the woman I want to be. That's not the person I want to be, who I am going to be a wife and be a mother and be in business with. That's not somebody who I'm going to portray myself on this platform as a content creator, as a podcaster. That's somebody who I don't want to be. I want to be that woman that inspires you to be the best version of yourself. I want this podcast episode to inspire you that, wow, am I really insecure? Why do I feel threatened by this person's energy? Maybe I need to do a lot of inner work. Maybe I need to do a lot of shadow work. Maybe I need to go see a therapist and talk about the things that I'm going through, that those unhealed parts. But I also want to say that some people look at someone shining and think that, I hate them. Why she got to be up in my grill? Sometimes they'll say that, I want to be like you, or I wish I had that confidence. I wish I had an aura like you. And I've noticed that energy in myself too, because as I said earlier, when I walk into rooms, women either feel inspired or they hate on me. And I had a intense natal chart reading. He does talk about the placements and what it means. But when he was going through my chart, he told me that what you need to understand, Laila, is that people are going to love you and hate you. You bring the insecurities out of them. You don't do it intentionally. You mind your business. You clock in, clock out. You have this confidence, this leadership, this secure woman. And when they see that, they feel threatened. And they don't even know how to approach that, because they never been somebody in that presence who had that confidence. We are the rare breeds. We are the unicorns. And that's what I call ourselves, because when I tell you, there are people in my presence who literally have a conversation with me who don't feel intimidated by me. And there is some bunches that are very weird and that feel awkward, that can't even have an intellectual conversation, that feels threatened by my presence because it's so strong. But you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I am not going to dim my light for no one and not for you. Don't ever dim your light for somebody just because they feel very uncomfortable, awkward, and insecure. Keep shining, because that weed will come out and they will learn to fucking be the best version of themselves and change their self concept. Yeah, that's what you need to do for them, because that's something what they need to do for themselves, you know? But the turning point for me was a self reflection. I had to ask myself, what am I projecting? What insecurities am I hiding? So, what I started doing is that after, my breakup, which was a very toxic relationship and something that I've learned from that relationship, because I literally had to date myself and I had to learn myself, because this is not the woman I want to be in a relationship. This is not the person I want to be in the relationship, having friendships and be in a relationship with a man. I had to journal my feelings without judgment. I literally had to do shadow work and ask these questions and be honest with myself. Shadow work is very intense. You're basically asking questions that you are afraid to ask yourself. It's basically holding a mirror in front of your face of who you are. And you have to acknowledge that, not move forward, but literally work through those layers, those unhealed parts, and facing, my insecurities honestly. Practicing self love daily. I would do affirmations. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am the best version of myself. I'm the woman that has it all. I think what really played a big part in my self love journey was the law of assumption, which is a coin from Neville Goddard. Look him up. That's something that I had to do. I literally had to change my self concept and literally get an idea of the woman that has it all. Woman who is unbothered, who does not entertain circumstances in the 3D around me. And that's something that I had to practice. It was a trial and error, but I perfected it. I also had to practice self regulating my emotions, doing breath work, meditating, also listening to frequency music. Another thing that really helped me was subliminals. Is something that really reprograms your subconscious mind and your limiting beliefs, which eliminate. That's something that really helped me along the way. What I want to say is that I was focusing on building my life, my confidence, but also my independence. I started liking Beyonce because that's somebody who really inspired me to be the best version of myself. Even she had Blue, she had this blog on her page, and she said that she would sit down and literally meditate for 20 minutes. She would literally replay her day, how her day is, how she was going to be the version of herself when she steps out. But I understand what she's doing, because she was basically Sagittarius in mind. And I realized her shine wasn't my competition. It was a reflection of what I could create in myself. So listeners, what about you? Are there people in your life who trigger envy or insecurity? Can you see that as a reflection about you? And I just want you to think about that. So another thing I do want to dabble is that confidence divides, because not everyone can handle high energy. Some people admire it. Some people fear it. Some try to tear it down. But you know what? That's okay, because it's not about them. It's about how you show up. I've learned to embrace my presence, my independence, my focus. And yes, people react, sometimes envy, sometimes respect, and that's normal, because you're always going to get those weird people that are very awkward around you and very envious and jealous. But think about your own energy. How do people react when you show up fully? What does that teach you about yourself? Here are a few things that has helped me throughout my journey. Number one, don't dim your light for anyone. Your energy is sacred. When I tell you, you are the main character of your energy, don't let anybody try to dim your spotlight, because nobody is not going to dim my spotlight, because this is who I am. And if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out of my face, because I am my own competition, because I am not in these competition, these other women, just myself. Number two, own your space mentally, emotionally, and physically. Don't let anybody come there to tell you what the fuck to do. You just basically need to be unbothered, just not care. Cannot shatter your confidence, cannot shatter your space. Focus on your growth, your hustle, your craft. Focus on things that bring you happiness and joy. Number four, recognize your triggers. When someone triggers envy, it's often a mirror of their inner work and not your fault. So when I tell you, if you're wondering why you're so bothered, why this person doesn't like you need to ask yourself why you're bothered by that. And I had to literally sit down and ask myself, like, why am I bothered that this person doesn't like me? And I asked myself that question. I said, like, and that's something I had to sit with myself. And you know what I come to realization is that there's a little part of me that's looking for validation. There's a little part of me that's looking for that sisterhood circle. And that's something that I had to work on, because not everybody is not going to like you. And maybe those people who don't like you are not meant to be in your circle, because they're not meant to be in your circle because those people are not right for you. They're weeds. I always believe that God puts people in your life for a reason, because he has a lesson that he gives us to put people in our life. And that's what I believe. The last thing is celebrate your shine, celebrate your growth. It's not arrogance, it's self-acceptance. You're not being cocky. You're just basically like, this is who the fuck I am. I'm the baddest chick in the game. Another thing I do want to say is that remember your presence, your independence, your focus. It inspires some and it threatens other. And that's okay, because they can be gone. I want you to reflect this week. Who do you feel envious of and why? How can you turn that reflection inward to fuel your growth? Share your thoughts on Instagram, TikTok, or in your journal. Remember, your light isn't a threat, it's your power. And I'm going to end this note on this episode that I want this episode to inspire you to be the best version of yourself. I want this episode to help you to see that there are unhealed parts that can help to take those weeds out of your heart. If you feel there is somebody who is struggling with identity issues, or they're not sure who they are, share this episode with them, because this may help them get to their breaking point and their breakthrough of being the best version of themselves. Not everything I say may not work for you, but those are a list of things that I have suggested. But this is Her Take by Laila Jean Says. Subscribe, share, and like. Again, blessings and peace. I'm out.